Hey everybody, sorry about the interruption on that last video. My batteries died. And today, I apologize for the lighting. I was working on the electrical box and realized when I got it installed that the main breaker part of the box is not in there, so I'm waiting for that to come in. So I'm going to have to put the old one back in at some point because my wife would kill me if we didn't have power on that side of the house for the weekend. Anyways, well, the progress that I've gotten done so far is I attached my cross pieces here, a few of them, because I ran out of the bolts. The bolts are button style machine screws, but if you look them up, it's a 1/4 20 socket screw. I believe it's a 5/16 head. I use the T25 screw bolt. Yeah, I can't talk. The T25 screw bit. It's for wood screws, but it fits perfectly in the these pieces that I have here. I mean, actually, that's fits better than the Allen wrench does. And so I've been to kill time until the new bolts come in. I've been looking for places where I can grab bolts and replace them with other bolts that I like to keep everything uniform in the way I put them together. Like, say, the bolts, I would like them all to look the same, even if you can't see them, but I think this is going to be one of those cases where it's not going to matter. Let's see. I've actually found some of these bolts kicking around on the floor that were broken, and if they wasn't stripped on the top, I put them through a 1/4 20 tap. No, excuse me, die. Tap is the one that you put in, and it would neaten up the threads, and I'd be able to use it. And this one's going in so easily, it didn't even need it. But I think I'm going to take these pieces here, take them out, and use them elsewhere, because I still need to figure out how I'm going to take my cross piece, my x-axis, I guess it would be a y-axis, and install this. So I have that piece along with the rails, 12-inch rails. And so it's going to be kind of a pain. For anybody that's interested, in order to get the bearings into this 80/20, how it's got a slot like that, it doesn't fit. I actually took my milling machine, so push this one out. Now it's good and tight. And I took a fly cutter and I angled the bit, because I didn't have a bit that was small enough to bore this out, or a boring tool. So I rigged up my fly cutter so it would cut the aluminum in, at the right size. And once I got it all set up, I was able to do them all in just a couple of minutes. So all I did was, when I went in, I just pretty much trimmed off the corners here in the center until I hit a uniform setting that I had put up on the first one. So it's almost like using a giant drill. And then after I did that, I took my dead blow hammer. And I loved my dead blow hammer. First time I was introduced to it was when I was in the Army. And when I went to school to be a machinist, I ended up having to acquire one. And everybody that I talk to about my dead blow hammer, it makes it sound like I talk about it a lot, but no, I don't. Nobody just ever knows what I'm talking about. So I have to explain it to them. And you probably can't hear it, but it's got sand or lead shot inside, so it sounds like a baby's rattle. And it multiplies the force when you hit. And the way I was introduced to these was, I was in training in the Army for 45 Bravo, and I don't know, about 5th week in, starting to doze off by accident. And I don't know why, I was just tired. I'm always tired. And next thing I know, I hear the sound of what sounded like the desk I was sitting at just getting blown apart. And the DI, I say DI because this guy was a Marine. We did co-training with the Marines, and he just slapped that friggin' thing right between my feet, right between my hands. I don't think I've ever woke up so quickly and so. Oh, it's got to be the worst way to wake up, minus combat. So, which, fortunate enough for me, I never got a chance to go over. But yeah, well, I would still go if they called me back. But probably not under this administration. But that's neither here or there. So that is what I'm going to do for now. And when I move on to my next project, or I go back to work on the electrical box, I will turn you back on and see what's going on at that point. But so I'm going to take the bolts out there, or the screws, take the plate off. I've got to figure out how I'm going to mount my centerpiece here. So I pretty much had a good idea, but now that I have it all been going, I just don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm kind of putting this together by shooting up from the hip, but that's the way I do things. Until it comes to bigger projects where it's going to cost a lot of money versus this project, I would put a couple bucks into it, do some work, and then take a break for a while, and then come back to it. So I've been working on this almost 2 years now, just piece by piece, and it is literally almost done, minus mounting my vertical access and the electronics. And I found out the other day when I was talking to you, went upstairs after the battery died, and found out that my PC doesn't have the correct ports that I need to hook up to this, and it turns out that I need a old school printer cable socket. And I believe there's a wire that I can get that replaces the wire you need for a printer to a USB port, but it expands from the USB port out to the regular printer section. So, well, I'll talk to you guys in a few minutes, otherwise I'll end up rambling on.